Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So today's video it's been inspired by a memory that sort of just recently popped up, and I don't know, something's sort of urging me to make this video because I feel like, it could help some people. So I'm hoping that this video sort of reaches the people that it needs to. So as you can tell from the title, this is from when I used to work in a bar, and sort of a memory popped up, just sort of like a series of events that I feel like I have some wisdom that I could help share, and yeah, it might help some people avoid making the same mistake that I did, to be honest. So just to set the scene, so when you work in a bar, right, so if you don't just work on weekends and you work, weekdays, you become you get to know people pretty well, right? You get to know sort of the type, the type of person that comes in, the same groups of people, you start to, get to know everyone quite well, right? And people that sort of like drink throughout the week, be people that, maybe finish work and they'll go out and meet other people that just finished work, and it's like a sort of like a social thing. That's all well and good, right? Now this story is about a girl that started coming in on weekdays. Now, I knew who this person was. I'm not going to say names or anything, right? But I knew who this person was. I knew them by name. I didn't know them, super well. But just from working behind the bar, I knew them, right? And they used to come in on weekends. Oh, well and good, weekends always, busy and such. And this person started coming in on a weekday. And at first I thought, because you notice, you can pick up on these things, right? Oh, that's a little bit strange that you're in, during the week for a drink. But, I didn't say any of this, it's just, just observing it. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, serve them, blah, blah, blah. Just do my job. And then there's like little things that you can pick up on, right? You can almost tell someone's intentions through sort of like little things like how fast they're drinking, if they're accepting drinks off of other people, but they're not, so let's say if someone's drinking a pint, right? Normally if somebody offers them, okay, get them a drink as well. Normally they would take a pint, right? And they'd keep it in, they'd have it when they're finished. But this girl was, if she got offered a drink, she'd be, wanting it quickly now, maybe even having a shot. So you can, these little things you can pick up on, that her intentions was to get as drunk as quickly as possible, right? It's these little things. So anyway, like I was just noticing this, blah, 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 and she got a little bit drunk, so I was like, right, okay, I can't serve you anymore. You've had too much. What most people do is, come on. Like, no, I can't in good conscience serve you anymore. Right, sound. So that was that. And then the next night, she came in again. Now this is where, alarm bells are going off a little bit. I'm like, right, okay, this is really out of character, So I'm not, judging, I'm not saying anything to anyone. This is all sort of internal, I'm just noticing and observing. It's very, very, very out of character for her to be in, 2 nights in a row on a weekday, so I'm just sort of, being extra cautious of her for her own safety, at the end of the day. Being a bartender, it's all fun and games, but when someone's abusing alcohol, you want to look after them, So anyway, yeah, again, these tiny little things, coming in by herself, drinking quickly, all these things are sort of showing her intentions, that she's not really necessarily there to just enjoy herself. She's there to, abuse alcohol, essentially. And this continued for a couple of weeks, actually. And this is part of being a bartender that I found quite difficult to sort of navigate, because it's like, you can tell, right? You can tell when people are there to enjoy themselves, when people are there to socialise, get a crack, whatnot. It's like ingrained in Scottish culture, and I'm sure it is in many places around the world. But it's really difficult, especially when this person isn't a drinker, and you can see that they're coming out just to get pissed, right? They're coming out just to get drunk, just to, I guess, numb themselves to whatever is going on in their life. And this is the sort of the wisdom and knowledge and such from, I've done it myself. I'm going to go over that in a little bit, but if you are going through hardship and things are happening to you in your life, do not turn to drink or drugs, okay? Don't turn to anything that's a quick, relief, a quick, feel good just because you aren't feeling good and life is tough at the moment. Because what happens is, and I'm talking from personal experience here, right? I lost my dad 6 years ago and I drank a lot, right? And so I'm not just, saying from, seeing it from other people, I've been through it myself. Do not turn to external stimulants and such just to make yourself feel better, because what you're doing is you're then training your brain to, it can start off instantly enough, and I'm not saying you can't go out and drink and such, you can't enjoy yourself, but it's, everything in moderation, right? And if you're not in control, it starts off as instant enough, right? I'm not feeling too good, I'm gonna go for a drink, right? But it very quickly becomes a habit. And the only real sort of, because when you drink and such, right, you get this big high, and then the rest of your week and such, it can't compare to that high, right? So now it becomes a sort of habit. And for me, I was in a lot of pain, right, obviously. I was in a lot of pain, and it was a choice, right? I used alcohol to numb my pain, essentially. And I could see, right, going back to the story of the girl, I could see that's what she was doing as well. And this is what I mean, it can start off instantly enough, but however, it can then very quickly turn into, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, and you're still in this habit of, I don't know, maybe there's emotions that you need to process through or events you need to process through, but because you haven't, right, and you've been numbing it out with, whatever, that event and such is still inside you and you still haven't processed it. So every time, it maybe creeps its head up, right, and you start feeling bad, instantly you're going to turn to booze. And this is why I made this video, because I don't know, just remembering that I enjoyed my time behind the bar. However, there is a sort of dark side to it as well, and I could see when people were abusing it, right? And they weren't there to just enjoy themselves. They were there to numb themselves out to whatever hardships and such life had given them at the moment. And this is what I have learned through experience as well, is that when you are met with tough times, right, and things are getting difficult, the only way is through. If you avoid your problems and you start trying to numb yourself out, that problem, right, that obstacle that needs to be faced is still going to be there years down the line once you've, finally decided to, now face it rather than avoid it. And this is what I learned, right, after about 3-4 years of, excessively drinking. I had to face the pain of, losing my dad and come to terms with it and accept it. Had I done that 4 or 3 years ago, when it actually happened and not drank a lot, then I would have, grown and, who knows how much further along in life I could have been. And to sort of sum this video up, I dug myself a very, very deep hole, right? And I've seen people do it with drinking and such, and you can dig yourself, you can dig yourself into a very, very unpleasant situation, right? Because you're going to have to get back out of it. And the best way to get out of that hole is to not dig it in the first place. I hope this video finds the right people. I hope this finds the right people, and maybe, if you're going through hardship, if, something, maybe like a grievance or something, just a fair warning, do not turn to external stimulants to avoid and numb yourself and to feel better. Try and find something to pour yourself into, like going to the gym or something, right? That's productive, that's going to pay off, and you're using your pain rather than trying to run away and avoid it. Because at some point, you're going to have to face it. And the longer you put it off, as I say, the deeper the hole you dig, the harder it's going to be. So, face life's problems head on when they occur. And yeah, don't be like me, and don't be like that girl that was trying to drink herself out of her problems, just like I did as well, because it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't lead anywhere. And the best way to get out of the hole, don't dig it in the first place. So, thank you very much, guys. I hope this finds the right people. I don't know, it's something that came up and something just urged me, is like, I don't know, maybe some people could find some value in this. So, thank you very much.